किशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बारसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगावराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टात् सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णवः सार्वभौमः श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषै नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतोर्पङ्गुर् मामन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वापदाम्बोजो राधा मदनमोहनं दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ प्रश्रालिभिः सेव्यमानः स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रामसरसारम्भे वंशीवटाचटस्थितः कर्षं वेणुसनेर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथः श्रियेस्तु नः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Fourth canto, 18th chapter onwards. Ritu Maharaj. Who is Ritu Maharaj? Anybody knows? Very good. He is Bhupalana Shakti avatar. Now in the 17th chapter, you have seen that how Dharo Vacha, Dhara, who is Prithvi, she glorifies Prithu Maharaj by saying that, O Lord, you expand into many forms and your material energy is there in a universal form. So I offer my humble obeisances to you. And only when a person realizes his spiritual potency, he can understand you. So she starts glorifying Prithu Maharaj in various verses. And after glorifying Prithu Maharaj, at the end, it is described that how your desire is not known to person like the wives and the sons of Devatas, whose minds are bewildered by ignorance, arising from various bodies who assume this world, but who have surrendered to you. I offer my respectful obeisances to he who brings fame to persons celebrated by charity. Then Maitreya, he starts speaking. in the 18th chapter. Vidur Maitreya Samvad is one of the biggest Samvadas, longest Samvad in the entire Bhagavatam. In the fourth canto, there are four pastimes. One is of Daksha, other one is of Dhruva, other is of Prithu, Prachetas. These four pastimes are there because in the Kapila Dviviti Samvada in the third canto, there is a description of how there are four kinds of devotional service: Tamasika, Rajasika, Sattvika, and Shuddha Bhakti. Out of the four kinds of devotional service, you have to give four examples for it. For Tamasika, it is Daksha. For Rajasika, it is Dhruva. For Sattvika, it is Prithu. And for Shuddha Bhakti, it is the Prachetas. So in this way, Prithu Maharaj's pastime is to highlight what is Sattvika Bhakti, duty-oriented. So dharma is two kinds. One is Arthika and Paramarthika. Prithu Maharaj's pastime is to see that how Arthika dharma has to be performed for the purpose of Paramarthika dharma. Arthika dharma means the duties of different categories, Varnashrama dharma. In the Varnashrama dharma, the most important category, you may say Brahmins, but actually it's not Brahmins. It is the Kshatriyas, because they are the people who protect. So until this protection is there, you cannot do any activity. In fear, you cannot do any activity. So protection is required, and protection is done by Krishna. So Krishna himself came as Prithu Maharaj, a Shaktavish avatar, and showed to the entire world how you need to protect. We all know the birth of Prithu, how he came out of the churning of the body of his father, his Vena. Anga Vena Prithu. So here Prithu Maharaj is being glorified at how now, after he has subdued the earth, how he is making the Dharani give all the necessities which are required for us. There is Gomata, there is Bhumata. Mother, earth is compared to mother, Mata. So how he milks the earth planet, that is the subject matter of the 18th chapter. Maitreya Uvacha. Ittam vritam vistutya rusha praspurtadardham punar anirbhita samstapyatmanamatmanam. Maitreya says, Maitreya Uvacha, he says, Ittam vritam abhistutya. When Dharani Devi, she abhistutya, what did she do? She glorified Prithu Maharaj. What happened? His anger reduced. Actually, his lips were trembling in anger. Mother Earth, who was Bhitaha, very frightened. What should he do? She again spoke. How did he speak? Samstabhyatmanatmanam. Sanstabhyatmanam atmana. Sanstabhya, after fixing her mind, atmanam means mind, atmana, by her intelligence. So Mother Earth, she again started her glorification of Prithu Maharaj. Even after our glorification in the previous chapter, he was still angry. So she glorifies further. How does she do that? Sanyachabhibhyo manyum niboda shashvatam chame sarvata saram madhatte yatha madhukaro buddha. She directly says, "Oh Lord, what you should do? Manyum, manyum, ah, sanyacha. Sanyacha means what? Hmm? Pacify. What you should pacify? Manyum. Manyum means anger. So now for that, uh, if you're very angry, in anger, even if you say something good, they don't like it. So you're so angry that even if I say something good, you don't understand. That is why, Nibodha, Nibodha, please hear, please understand. Shravitam chame, what I want you to hear, please understand. Shravitam means the thing which I want you to hear. Please hear. Nibodha, understand. In anger, a person cannot hear. So you reduce your anger and try to understand what I am speaking. You see, saramagatte sarvataha yatha madhukaro buddha. Buddha. Buddha means intelligent people. What do the intelligent people do? They are saragrahi. They take the essence. They are saragrahis. Like whose example is given here? Madhukaro yatha means like a bee. It goes to the flower and picks the nectar from them. And then it keeps the beehive. So madhukaro yatha. Yatha madhukaro buddha. In the same way, you should try to understand what I'm going to say, try to understand the essence. Don't just become angry. I want to make you hear something, please hear. I am a low class person, but still you should hear. Because something is very valuable existing in my words. Take that, other things don't take. Please hear. Asmilloke tavanishnim munivestatvadarsheve Rishta yoga payuktascha pumsam shreya prasiddhate prasiddhaye asmil loke thavam munish mushnim asmin loke means in this world athava otherwise in the amushnim means next life munibihi tattvadarshibhi those who are munis those who are tattvadarshis those sages who have seen the truth what they have done they have drishta yoga prayuktascha pumsam shreya prasiddhaye. So they have drishta yoga. By the process of their yoga, they have known the truth for the human life, the benefit, shreya prasiddhaye, for the purpose of attaining shreya in this life and in the next life. So all the great people, Munayaha, they know about it. So read the purport.
Civilization takes advantage of the perfect knowledge presented in the Vedas and
Hmm.
benefit of human society. Vedic innovations are known as Shruti, and the additional supplementary present of these principles, as given by the great sages, are known as Smriti. Society should take advantage of the instructions from both Shruti and Smriti. If one wants to advance in spiritual life, one must take these instructions and follow the principles. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Goswami says that if one poses himself as advanced in spiritual life, but does not refer to the Shrutis and Smritis, he is simply a disturbance in society. One should follow the principles laid down in the Shrutis and Smritis not only in spiritual life, but in material life as well. As far as human society is concerned, it should follow the Manusmriti as well, for these laws are given by Manu, the father of mankind. In Manusmriti, it is stated that a woman should not be given.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Now, how to live a material life that is also based on spiritual principles. Matter comes from spirit. Since matter comes from spirit, you have to use matter in a spiritual way. Many devotees are not very much convinced about it. They think, Bhauji, we come to a temple for spiritual life. For material life, material education, we are St. Xavier's. We are CBSE. Huh? For chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, reading Bhagavatam will come here. When it comes to going to a doctor, we go telepathy. Now, what our material life has got to do spiritual life? Nothing, isn't it? So, this can be extended or materialistic extend to such an extent, saying that spirit soul has nothing to do with matter. Matter doesn't matter. So, I can eat non-veg and be spiritual also. Because anyhow, it doesn't matter, isn't it? Matter doesn't matter. Nice argument, isn't it? So materially you can do anything. Anyhow, it's all temporary. So whether I am a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, both are temporary only. Your body is going to die one day. So just concentrate on spiritual life, and material life don't give any much of significance. No. This is actually Mayavad. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. So this world is false, so whatever I do is false in this world. So you are eating vegetarian, that's also false. I am eating non-vegetarian, that's also false. Ultimately, just think of Brahman and become Brahman. Beginning of spiritual life is the way you deal with matter. How do you conduct your material life is the beginning of spiritual life. If you are conducting your spiritual life, material life based on scripture, that is actual material life. If you are gaining material knowledge based on scriptures, that is called material knowledge. That is known as avidya. Material knowledge is avidya. But the knowledge which is there in the present world, knowledge which is there, which is being taught in the schools and colleges, that is not even material knowledge. That knowledge which is there, which is being taught in the present day schools and colleges, that knowledge is what? It is not even avidya, it is durvidya. Vidya means Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Vidya. Ayurveda, Jyotish, Vastu, they are all what? Avidya. Your college studies, engineering, physics, mathematics, chemistry, they are all what? Durvidya. So if you don't discriminate between Durvidya and Avidya, there will be a big problem. Now just imagine you are a scientist and you become a devotee. Then one day, one devotee garlands because he is a scientist. And he sees the garland, nice, wonderful fragrance is coming from the garland. But there's one problem with the garland. There's a rose garland, and all the petals are withering, getting scattered. Then the scientist says, Prabhu, we should perform pure devotional service. I'll give you a technique by which you can grow rose flowers from which the petals will never fall down. Krishna has given me the brain to do that. So I use my brain and then take the original flower and do some, what do you call, modification, genetically modification onto it, and create a breed which becomes so beautiful rose flower, petals would not fall down, but no fragrance. Whereas Guru Goswami says you should offer flowers only. Now this pure devotee, so much so for his pure devotional service, what did he do? He used his intelligence for what? Destroying the nature of the flower on the name of devotional service, on the name of Yukta Vairagya. Matter has been created by Krishna. And the laws of matter are also created by Krishna. The science behind matter is also explained by Krishna. So you should deal with matter the Krishna way. The way Krishna wants that you should deal with matter, in the same way you should deal with matter. not your own way. Because they do not follow the liberated instructions of Vedas, they are unhappy. When it comes to cow, Roji, I'll donate a cow to you, which can give you 20 liters of milk. But that is not cow, that is Putana, that is Jersey, Holstein. This cow only gives 3 liters, but the Prabhu, that cow, Putana is giving only poison. Because you interfered into nature. Take it in writing. You cannot practice pure devotional service easily without following the nature's law. You can do it, but I use the word easily because pure devotional service is not dependent on material situation. But still, what is favorable? That is the natural way. Very unfortunate that you see the mangoes these days, mango tree. It is only 6 feet. Gives so many mangoes. But it is not the same what you ate in your childhood. It's something different. Hmm? So, two significant words are used in this life and the next life, both the lives. They are rascals and fools. What advice they can give, still they are passing as learned scholars and professors. In this world, the word of Vishnu is very explicit. It is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will have a profitable life. Hmm? So the method of material lives are given in the scriptures. And the sages have spoken so many things, especially on agriculture and on sacrifice. The world, you can live happily in this world by agriculture. And you can happily live in the next world by sacrifice. Now, you ask anyone, they say, agriculture, yeah, it's for low class people. Our economy in India is still stable, not because of the industries. You know that? It is because of our Krishi Pradhan Desh, agriculture. If you focus on agriculture, you will become the richest person in the world. But now what people see, agriculture is lost. Why it is lost? Because you're using urea instead of cow dung. Cow dung is free urea, isn't it? No. Why you remove the cow? Because the cow eats grass. And for that, you require some land. Why you should waste the land? I'll cultivate that land also. So you remove the cow, no cow dung. You remove the bull. No, that nobody told. So you have to get the tractor, you have to buy the tractor, you have to buy the fertilizer, you have to buy the diesel. When your overheads have increased. So you can go and contemplate on this particular subject and then see that how people are so frustrated in this world because of not following the method. That is why asmin loke yatha amusmin munibihi tattvadarshibhi drishta yoga prayukta means what? They applied cha pumsam shreya prasidhyate. Okay. Next. Tan adishta yat yah samyak upayam purvadarshritam avara shraddhayopeta upeyam vindatenjasa. On the other hand, one who follows the principles and injunctions enjoined by the great sages of the past, tam atishtati yaha samyak. Samyak means what? Completely. Atishtati follows upayas, the procedures, purvadarshitam, as spoken by the Purva Acharyas, purvadarshitam. Ah, avaraham shraddhaya upetaha upeyan vindate anjasa. Anjasa means very easily. What they can attain? They can attain the result of their activities. Upeyam, Shraddhaya, one has to faith. Faith is the most important thing. Now, the agriculture these days, again, they are coming back to traditional ways of farming because they came to know by farming in the modern ways, which is exploitation. What is the difference between modern way of material life and the scriptural way of material life? The scriptural way of material life is conservation, and modern way of material life is exploitation. Simple. So I have 1 acre land. How I can produce double by putting so many chemicals? That is called exploitation. What is conservation? How to make sure the land is producing for generations to come. How to maintain the fertility of the land so that my sons, my grandsons, great grandsons, they all can. When I was a kid, we were farmers, belonging to a farmer family. My father is a professor, but grandfather is a farmer. Practically childhood is spent in farms only. Used to go to our farm, we had cows. We were having 3 crops a year. 3 crops. Such fertility was there in the land. Sometimes 2 rice crops. Most of you don't know what is farming. You cannot understand what I'm saying. Those who know what is farming, 2 rice crop means you're a billionaire actually. Yeah, if you put one grain, it grows. Within 3 months, how 22 to 60. Even if you take average 30 grains come from one grain. Now tell me which bank in the world gives you put 1 rupee in the bank, after 3 months, collect 30 rupees. So this is how one has to accept the previous experienced people. They should have faith and then conduct their material life. Read the purport.
The very principles Mahajano Yena Gatasapanda urge us to follow in the footsteps of great liberated souls. In this way, we can receive benefit in both this life and the next, and we can also improve our material life. By following the principles laid down by great sages and saints of the past, we can very easily understand the aim of all life. The word avara, meaning inexperienced, is very significant in this verse. Every conditioned soul is inexperienced. Everyone is above the jata, born a fool and rascal. In democratic government, at the present moment, all kinds of fools and rascals are making decisions. But what can they do? What is the result of their legislation? They enact something today just to whimsically repeat, repeat it tomorrow. One political party utilizes a country for one purpose, and the next moment another political party forms a different type of government and nullifies all the laws and regulations. This process of chewing the chewed punascharvita sarvananam will never make human society happy. In order to make all human society happy and prosperous, we should accept the standard methods given by liberated persons.
So even inexperienced person, just by following. Earlier, any problem used to come in their house, physical problem, some disease used to come. In the house itself, they would treat the disease. Doctor very rare. Grandmother would make something and give. Grandmother had no experience of any medicine, but the traditions are so set up. Okay, your stomach ache. Come, I'll give you. She would ask, you give some jeera water, that's all. Oh, stomach ache gone. I remember my childhood. Now, small cough and cold, no, we have doctor's appointment. So they said they go to the hospital. In hospital, there are many children who got cough and cold, all sitting together. So the virus have, the exchange. We have bureaucracy, bureaucratic exchange. Bilateral exchange. This virus comes here, this virus goes there. It's a big history of viruses. And a doctor sits there and then recommends. What medicine does he recommend? What medicine recommends? That medicine recommends where he's getting the maximum bribe from. Yeah. Don't know? Maximum bribe. If one company is bribing him, or he recommends that medicine. So the company also gives money to him, and the pharmacist also gives money to him. And every year he would go along with the family, get drunk and go to a foreign tour and all. That's what doctors have done. This is how they earn. So just imagine, even though inexperienced, had sprained my wrist, some reason or so, had fever and everything. So emergency, I called a allopathic doctor. He gave some medicine that is, I don't know, everything is sin only there. Emycin, penicillin, all sin, medicine, all sin. So I was forced to take this antibiotics after, say, 15 years. I never took any English medicine because it was IIC camp and I cannot show my face. I'm a sickly face there. And it was swollen. I just could not tolerate the pain. Had it been I was in here only, they would have gone in Mumbai somewhere, then I would have gone to Ayurvedic doctor. And I had no other alternative. So that was the only thing. I took the pain reduced. But still, it did not go completely. When I lift, something would happen. So yesterday I went to one Vaidya. Yes, kya hua? I told yes. He just took the hand, pulled here, pushed there. I just shouted like anything. After that, I'm able to lift. After 8 days, I have to lift something like this. I can do like this. Just because of courtesy, I had to go to the doctor. He said, hello, doctor whom I consulted, I should show my face, a devotee. Hey, why did you go there? He cut the entire thing with remove all the bandage. Never go there. They are unput people. They have no idea of the physiology of the body. Then he checked everything. Don't pull. Don't just keep it as it is. I'll give you medicines. Same medicines. But the point is, I'm able to lift, I'm able to do all my work just with 5 minutes. It's a simple goal setter. In every field, there is a setup. This is how you have to, how to make sambar. Don't have to invent. Your grandmother made, your great grandmother made, just follow with that. That's all. And what we do, we experiment and make something out of it and eat it and fall sick. Huh? So Mahajana Kathasya Pantha, it not only applies for the spiritual Mahajanas, they are also Mahajanas in a particular field. There's Shushruta, there's Vagbat, great rishis. Abodha Jataha. So to enact something today, just to whimsically repeal it tomorrow. We invent something today and repeat it tomorrow. One political party utilizes a country for one purpose, and the next one, another political party forms a different type of government and nullifies the laws that he gone, chewing the shoe. Next. Anadrityayoridvan arthanarabhate swayam tasya evicharantyartha arabdhascha punah punah. Now, the goal of a foolish person who manufactures his own ways and means through mental speculation does not recognize the authority of the sages who lay down impeachable directions is simply unsuccessful again and again in his attempts. Punah punaha arabdhas, attempted all these things. What happens? Vevi charantyartha becomes they're not successful. So whole point here spoken about is inventions are not required. Whatever is already there in the scriptures, just follow, just continue it. There is no substitute for tradition. Innovation cannot be a substitute for tradition. Innovation can be there, but in details, not in principle. Like somebody would say, probably we require innovation. So there you can innovate the different ways of preaching. But if you innovate a philosophy, what will happen? So innovation in preaching is fine. But innovation in philosophy is not fine. But you become so conditioned for innovation, the habit enters, we require new ways of preaching. And when you think so much about it, one day it so happens that you think of what? New ways of philosophizing. New ways of philosophizing, then you land up in a problem because it's a habit. So be very careful about it. Tradition is tradition. There is no substitute for this. Read the purport. Actually, you know our system now. My classes will be like, you don't have to wait for giving comments or asking questions till the end of the class. Anytime, ask, interrupt. Yes.
At the present moment, it has become fashionable to disobey the unimpeachable directions given by the acharyas and liberated souls of the past. Presently, people are so fallen that they cannot distinguish between a liberated soul and a conditioned soul. A conditioned soul is hampered by four defects. He is sure to commit mistakes. He is sure to become illusioned. He has a tendency to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. Consequently, we have to take direction from liberated persons. This Krishna consciousness movement directly receives instructions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead via persons who are strictly following his instructions. Although a follower may not be a liberated person, if he follows the Supreme Liberated Personality of Godhead, his actions are naturally liberated from contamination of the material nature. Lord Chaitanya therefore says, by my order you may become a spiritual master. One can immediately become a spiritual master by having full faith in the transcendental words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by following his instructions. Materialistic men are not interested in taking directions from a liberated person, but they are very much interested in their own concocted ideas, which make them repeatedly fail in their attempts. Because the entire world is now following the imperfect directions of conditioned souls, humanity is completely bewildered.
So it's a fashion to disobey the tradition. It's a fashion. They have become so fallen that they cannot distinguish between a liberated soul and a conditioned soul. They think, hey, it's all old. It's primitive. It's all because of the modern education system where the British, they are brainwashed and drilled. Anything Vedic, anything Indian, Bharatiya is what? Primitive. Because they bring their ideology of history and impose here. For them, their ideology of history is what? Old Stone Age man, Neolithic age, Paleolithic age, some they will use words. And they're all not knowing how to wear dress. That was there in their country. But in this country, it is not like that. People were very civilized. 5,000 years back, you see the dresses which Arjuna wore, the armors which they had, the strategies of war, is all there in the Mahabharata. But at that time, they were living in the caves, naked. So they bring their ideology of history and impose here. And they say it's all outdated. Knowledge is never outdated. Knowledge is never outdated. Okay, next. Pura dhrishta hi aushadayo brahmanavaya vishambate bhunjayamanamaya dhrishta asadbhir adritat pratai. Now, Pura dhrishta hi aushadaya brahmanaha. She says that these plants were originally created by whom? Brahmanaha, by Brahma. And Bunjavana Maya Drishta, I see, Maya Drishta, I'm able to see, I saw also, that these plants were enjoyed by Adritavataihi, Asadbir. The sinful people, they enjoyed it. And these sinful people had no control over the senses. So she's saying that all the seeds, fruits, everything were created by Brahma and Adritavatehi, and they are all enjoyed by those who are Adritavatehi, means those who are controlled, no control over the senses. 8 purpose.
Lord Brahma created this material world for the use of the living entities, but it was created according to a plan that all living entities who might come into it to dominate it for sense gratification would be given directions by Lord Brahma in the Vedas in order that they might ultimately leave it and return home back to Godhead. All necessities grown on earth, namely fruits, flowers, trees, grains, animals, and animal byproducts, were created for use in sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. However, the planet Earth, in the shape of a cow, herein submits that all these utilities are being used by non-devotees who have no plans for spiritual understanding. Although there are immense potencies within the earth for the production of grains, fruits, and flowers, this production is checked by the earth itself when it is misused by non-devotees who have no spiritual goals. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything can be used for his satisfaction. Things should not be used for the sense gratification of the living entities. This is the whole plan of material nature according to the directions of this material nature. In this verse, the words Asadbi and Adritavatai are important. The word Asadbi refers to the non-devotees. The non-devotees have been described in Bhagavad Gita as Dushkritana, miscreants, Muda, asses or rascals, Naradana, lowest of mankind, and Maya Paratagyan, those who have lost their knowledge to the power of the illusory energy. All these persons are Asat, non-devotees. Non-devotees are also called Grihavrata, whereas the devotee is called Dhrutavrata. The whole Vedic plan is that the misguided conditions who have come to lord it over material nature should be trained to become Vrata. This means that they should take a vow to satisfy the senses or enjoy material life only by satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. Activities intended to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord Krishna are called Krishnarthi Akila Chesta. This indicates that one can attempt all kinds of work, but one should do so to satisfy Krishna. This is described in Bhagavad Gita as Yajna Karma. The word Yajna indicates Lord Vishnu. We should work only for his satisfaction. In modern times, Kali Yuga, however, people have forgotten Vishnu altogether and they conduct their activities for sense gratification. Such people will gradually become poverty stricken, for they cannot use things which are to be enjoyed with the Supreme Lord for their own sense gratification. If they continue like this, they will ultimately be a state of poverty and no grains, fruits, or flowers will be produced. Indeed, it is stated in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam that at the end of Kali Yuga, people will be so polluted that there will no longer be any grains, wheat, sugarcane, or milk.
So those who are Asadbihi, Asadbihi means non-devotees, and Adrita Vrata means, what is the meaning of? Adrita Vrata, they are not control their senses, devoid of spiritual activities. That means in all mental activities. They are totally exploiting me. That is what she's saying, exploitation. Okay, next. Apalitanadrita cha bhavadbhirlokapaalakai chori bhuti talokeham yajnarthe krasammoshadi. Now she is scolding whom? Vena. And also him, both. Prithu Maharaj says, when I have been exploited by these people, those who are not devotees, those who have no control of senses, I was not protected by the kings. I was not respected by the kings. Apalitana dhrita cha. Two things. Apalita means I was not protected. I am not taken care. Anadrita means I was not respected. Bhavadbir lokapalati. Bhavadbir means what? You. Bhavadbir lokapalaki. People like you means you, your father. They never protected me. Neither they respected me. Oh. And the whole world was filled with whom? Chori bhute talokeham. The entire world was filled with thieves. That is why. What did I do? Yajnarthe grasamoshadihi. I had devoured all the plants so the sacrifice can be performed in future. I want to make all these creations is for whom? Brahma created for whom? For the purpose of sacrifice. Yajnartat karma nyatra. When the Lord appeared in front of Brahma, then Lord gave knowledge to Brahma about how to worship Mancharatra. Then Brahma told, I want to create, then why did you give this knowledge of worshipping you? And Krishna told, just worship, all creation will happen. So Brahma started worshipping the Lord and wanted to create those things which are required for the worship. The whole world was created. What does that mean? The whole world was created with only one purpose, his mind, to use all these things in. Everything has got its use. But we are misusing it, that's all. So keeping Veda in mind, she's scolding Prithu also. You never actually came and protected me. And now you're scolding me. Actually, I did a good thing because all those unscrupulous people, they're trying to exploit me. So that is why I did not produce anything. That is the reason. Understand it. It's the purport.
That which happened during the time of Prithu Maharaj and his father King Veda is also happening at this present moment. A huge arrangement exists for the production of large-scale industrial and agricultural products. But all these products are meant for sense gratification. Therefore, despite such productive capacities, there is scarcity because the world's population is full of things. The word Choribhute indicates that the population has turned into theory. According to Vedic understanding, men are transformed into thieves when they plan economic development for sense gratification. It is also explained in Bhagavad Gita that if one eats food, grains without offering them to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yagna, he is a thief and liable to be punished. According to spiritual communism, all properties on the surface of the globe belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The population has a right to use goods only after offering them to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the process of accepting prasada. Unless one eats prasad, he is certainly a thief. It is the duty of the governors and kings to punish such thieves and maintain the world nicely. If this is not done, grains will no longer be produced and people will simply starve. Indeed, not only will people be obliged to eat less, but they will kill one another and eat each other's flesh. They are already killing animals for flesh, so when there will no longer be grains, vegetables, and fruits, they will kill their own sons and fathers and eat their flesh for sustenance.
So if it is not done, grains will no longer be produced and people will simply starve. Unless one eats prasad, he is certainly a thief. It is the duty of governors and kings to punish such thieves and maintain the world nicely. So much is being spent on eating. Especially those who are meat eaters. They are the cause of scarcity of food. On the other hand, when some people say, argue, everybody is going to be vegetarians and animals, population increase. Then what do you do? Human population increasing. So you have man-eaters or what? All stupid arguments they give. It is said that if somebody is a vegetarian, then the family requires 1 acre of land. If they become non-vegetarian, that means that they have to eat animals. The animals live on grass only. And for that, you require 10 acres of land. And not only that, more water. Consumption is more. So it's very horrible. Hmm. They are already killing animals for flesh. So when there will be no longer grains, vegetables and fruits, they will kill their own sons and fathers and eat their flesh for sustenance. Powerful statement. Because man eaters. And how people eat this flesh. Very, very disgusting. Such a sinful activity it is. Once I gave a class, then I told those who are eating flesh, actually they're not eating flesh, they're eating dead bodies. And they're making their stomach into a graveyard. It is not that they go to graveyard. Their house itself is a graveyard. Their body itself is a graveyard. Some people very, very bad. I don't know whether they gave up or not. It's very obnoxious. Next. Nunam dakina mai kale na bhuyasa tatra yogena drishtena havan adudamarhati. Nunam dakshina, due to being stopped for a long time, because I just held all the things. All the grain seeds within me have certainly deteriorated. What happened? All have been deteriorated. Therefore, you should immediately arrange to take the seeds out by the standard process, which is recommended by the acharyas or the shastras. Read the purport.
When there is scarcity of grain, the government should follow the methods prescribed in the Shastra and approved by the Acharyas. Thus, there will be a sufficient production of grains, and food scarcity and famine can be checked. Bhagavad Gita recommends that we perform yajna, sacrifices. By the performance of yajna, sufficient clouds gather in the sky, and when there are sufficient clouds, there is also sufficient rainfall. In this way, agricultural matters are taken care of. When there is sufficient grain production, the general populace eats the grains, and animals like cows, goats, and other domestic animals eat the grasses and grains also. According to this arrangement, human beings should perform the sacrifices recommended in the Shastras, and if they do so, there will no longer be food scarcity. In Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice recommended is Sankirtan Yajna. In this verse, there are two significant words, Yogena, by the approved method, and Rishtena, as exemplified by the former acharyas. One is mistaken if he thinks that by applying modern machines such as tractors, grains can be produced. If one goes to a desert and using a tractor, there is still no possibility of producing grains. We may adopt various means, but it is essential to know that the planet Earth will stop producing grains if sacrifices are not performed. The earth has already explained that because non-devotees are enjoying the production of food, she has reserved food seeds for the performance of sacrifice. Now, of course, atheists will not believe in the spiritual method of producing grains. But whether they believe or not, the fact remains that we are not independent to produce grains by mechanical means. As far as the method approved is concerned, it is enjoined in the Shastras that intelligent men in this age will take to the Sankirtana movement, and by so doing, they shall worship the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Chaitanya, whose bodily complexion is golden and who is always accompanied by his confidential devotees to teach this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. In its present condition, the world can only be saved by introducing this Sankirtana, this Krishna consciousness movement. As we have learned from the previous verse, one who is not in Krishna consciousness is considered a thief. Even though he may be materially advanced, a thief cannot be placed in a comfortable position. A thief is a thief and he is punishable. Therefore, because people are without Krishna consciousness, they will become thieves, and consequently, they are being punished by the laws of material nature. No one can check this, not even by introducing so many relief funds and humanitarian institutions. Unless the people of the world take to Krishna consciousness, there will be a scarcity of food and much suffering.
Srila Prabhupada gives long purport to this section because he wants to show to the entire world Krishna consciousness is a solution to all the problems what you have, what you're facing. That is why even in the Back to God magazine's earlier days, he was talking about the World War. He talking about how if you distribute books, the Cold War between America and Russia will be stopped. It really happened. See, why anybody should accept Krishna consciousness? You not only just saying that Krishna consciousness is a solution to all the problems, not just saying, you have to practically show. So once we are discussing, it so happened that there was a professional management expert, a meat eater, who was called to solve the management problems what we have in our society. And I just told, we are telling the entire world, all your problems will be solved by accepting Krishna consciousness. And you are calling this person to solve your problem. You know why? Because you have no faith in the teachings of your Acharya. Our Acharya was clearly told, Prabhupada clearly told, Krishna, being Krishna conscious is a solution to all the problems. If you go to the root of all the problems which we face in our management, root, it is nothing but the false ego of a person or a few individuals. That's all. It goes to that only. So why is false ego? Because it's not Krishna conscious. That's all. You be Krishna conscious, then all the problems are solved. Huh? If you're not Krishna conscious, then no problems will be solved. Oh, then you just see, we waste our time in so many meetings just because we forget this thing that Krishna consciousness is the solution to all the problems. You be Krishna conscious, then all fine. Okay. Next.
When we hear this,
When we hear these purports, so naturally we tend to go towards Vedic life. So if few individuals practice Vedic life, for example, like we use all of the fields, they are issuing urea chemicals. So then how nature will reciprocate?
There is a way for that also. Something which has been deteriorated and misused for, say, 50 years, 60 years, you have to wait for 3-4 years, isn't it? It can happen. 3-4 years, it will happen. For that, practicality has to be according to that particular situation. Principle is that you can do. And there are some people who have done it. And you should know how to do it, that's all. Learn it. See, for that you require cow and cow dung. You have faith in cow dung, I am sure within 2 years you will produce more than what the other people are able to produce. Definitely you'll be able to do that. Then you take all the farms which are around you, take on these. Do. Production will definitely happen. No problem. It is a simple process in business, that is, create demand, then supply will be there. Somebody asked me, why so much of alcohol is being sold? Why? Because there is a demand. The problem is increasing the demand. One devotee told me, Prabhuji, why are you selling ghee at 2,500 rupees? Who will buy? That is the problem. If there are 100 people buying pure cow ghee at 2,500 rupees, I'll give you at 2,000 rupees only. You create a market for 1,000 people to buy, I'll give the ghee at 1,500 rupees only. Volume. So the problem is in marketing. And who is that person who does the marketing? Vaishyas. So when the Vaishyas got disconnected from Christian Goraksha, that is where the problem started. So the Kshatriyas, the government, is encouraging that because that is the methodology of they getting a tax. From agriculture is tax exemption. Agriculture income is tax exempted. Get it? And that is why the government's least priority is on agriculture. Maximum they pay out the farmer's loan. That's all. But if you create an infrastructure to the farmer by which he is able to grow and sell at premium, then everybody will become farming. And that is what is happening in the past 10 years. The Modi government is encouraging the farming in a very subtle way, not very gross way. That is why you have many people in the US settled young professionals. They are giving up and then coming to their land and then tilling the land. They are working on it. Tilling the land means they are into agriculture. That is the future now. If you want to make money, nothing is going to work. Get into agriculture because the whole population is increasing. If they require more food, more clothes. So, this is the right time to buy more land and invest in agriculture. Fact. Actually, fact. So, I was just giving one more suggestion to one devotee. We actually require one Vaishya. And Brahmin can only give an advice. Any Agarwal, Gupta, Chettiars, these people are required. I am still searching for one person who can, one Vaishya, who can do this. He opens a big mall where only products, organic products produced by the devotees are there. So how many devotees would get employment and business opportunity? And only those people who purchase from that mall will be given initiation. Something like that. Or will be allowed in the temple or will be recognized as a devotee. Something like that. You make it. Anyway, they are purchasing from here and there, isn't it? And they will be given 20% discount. Something like that. Just imagine, I'm telling you, you can build 100 temples from that mall. Hundreds of devotees will get employment. That is called Varnashrama. So what has happened is we are not able to get that Vaishya. You find some Vaishya, I'll give you an idea. Most of the Vaishyas are there, they say, "Okay, 10 crore rupees le lo, 5 crore le lo," one donation, they want to give you donation, they want to do their own business. No, we don't want your donation. We want you be there and do a business for us. That's what is required. So somehow that flexibility is kind of not given, or very difficult to give. Maybe it happens in future, we don't know. We want to control the business by ourselves. It's not our work actually. It's not our work. When we try to do the restaurant in our temple, then Three contractors, they all failed. Either contract or you controlled it, everything failed. Then I gave an idea. You see, running restaurant is not our business. We give contract, but unofficial contract. Because there's a rule that you cannot just give contract, you'll land up in the problems. I spoke to everybody, and everybody told, whatever you say, I'll do blindly. आपको तो business पैसे से मतलब है ना. Okay. So it was there's no written contract, but it's a contract. So he's interested in business, he's making money, and temple is making money. Just imagine if a temple person goes and sits there, what will happen? Some devotee will call, Prabhuji, मेरे 4 लोग आ रहे हैं, गोलना में खिला दो. He cannot say no, he cannot take money from him. He will go and loss. So, Varnashrama is a very important thing. When the Vaishyas get connected to agriculture, Krishi, then Goraksha, then you will find there will be a great revolution, a great revolution. And the Vaishyas only will get connected to that when you show. And for that, you have to say to a Vaishya that we are 2,000 families connected to ISKCON Pune. They all want to have pure cow ghee. Now you arrange. Then let's see what all he'll do. He'll make sure it will happen because he's got a market of 2,000 kilos. And that is how these things are going to happen. Okay. Next. Vatsam kalpaya me virayena vatsala tava dokshe kshiramyam kamam anurupam jadohanam Vogaram javahabahutanam bhuta bhavana annam ipsidam murjasvat bhagavan vanchate yadi. Hero, protector of living entities. Veera. Vatsam kalpayame Veera. Protect living entities. Yenaham Vatsala Tava. Aham Vatsala Tava. I am your Vatsal. Dhokshe Kshidamayam Kamam. If you desire to release the living entities by supplying sufficient grains, and if you desire to nourish them by taking milk from me, you should make arrangements to bring a calf suitable for this purpose and a pot in which the milk can be kept. Dogdaram cha mahabaho bhutanam bhutabhavana annam ipsitam ujasvat bhagavan vanchate yadi. Yadi vanchate, if you desire, then what you should do? You should bring a calf and you should bring a pot. Because of my affection for the calf, I'll give the milk. Your desire to take the milk from me will be fulfilled. That is the connection between the cow and the calf. I'll fulfill. So, you want to get something from someone, you show affection, that person will give. Jabardasti, even if you take it, it's not going to work. Just show affection. Who can show affection? Calf can show affection to the cow. Read the purport.
These are nice instructions for milking a cow. The cow must first have a calf so that out of affection for the calf, she will voluntarily give sufficient milk. There must also be an expert milkman and a suitable pot in which to keep the milk. Just as a cow cannot deliver sufficient milk without being affectionate to her calf, the earth cannot produce sufficient necessities without feeling affection for those who are Krishna conscious. Even though the earth's being in the shape of a cow may be taken figuratively, the
meaning hearing is very explicit. Just as a calf can derive milk from a cow, all living entities, including animals, birds, bees, reptiles, and aquatics, can receive their respective foods from the planet Earth, provided that human beings are not asat or adhitavata, as we have previously discussed. When a human society becomes asat or ungodly or devoid of Krishna consciousness, the entire world suffers. If human beings are well behaved, animals will also receive sufficient food and be happy. The ungodly human being, ignorant of his duty to give protection and food to the animals, kills them to compensate for the insufficient production of grains. Thus, no one is satisfied, and that is the cause of present condition in today's world.
Actually, very bad situation. Cows, if they are killed, then the whole land will become a desert in 100 years. I don't know how many of you seen some videos of Syria. Tigris River flows there. Beautiful river. Nice river, so much of water. But everywhere it is desert. Why? Because no cows were killed. Once upon a time, there were Brahmanas doing yajna there in that land, Central Europe. But what happened? The cows were killed, the Brahmins were killed, yajnas were stopped. Over a period of time, what has happened? There is always there, only deserts. So this thing, I don't know how many of you went to an exhibition. I must have heard about it. The exhibition happened in Rajkot called Cowtech. Heard about it? Where all the different organizations and companies and NGOs into cow protection, cow products, all anything connected to cow, they're all there. Somebody making goose, somebody making some cow dung plaster, everything was there. So many people were big businessmen, young professionals, they are all getting into this thing. There's one person who the cow dung extract, in a small packet it was there, some extract, some kind of juicy thing, jelly kind of thing. It's a cow dung extract. What he did, he just took 1 spoon of it and put it in sand. Put it in sand, that's all. Next, after 2 days, there was a growth of fungus in the entire sand. That means it showed the properties of mud. That's simple. So when the cows they graze and they give gomutra, gobar, that mixes and keeps the fertility of the soil. That is why Namo Brahmana Deva Go Brahmanitaya. It is not just mantra to tell and then you just go and say, kaun palega gai ko, gai go mata. It's only in the books, no. Affection. Now the mothers have no affection for the children because there is no cow in this world. They don't see the cow. The word vatsa, vatsalya comes from cow, first for the calf, love for it. So it's actually big signs. Somehow you neglect it and then think, what I want to do. Some Vaishya, you see, then you have to get into that. Otherwise, very difficult. Next. Samam cha kuru mam rajan deva vishtam yatapayah avartvat apibadramte avavrate tatme vibho.
My dear king,
Samam cha kurumam rajan. Hey Rajan, huh. ah, you want that I should give something? What we should do? Make the land samam, means my earth should be flattened. Entire surface globe should be level. Then by doing so, apartva avibhadramte upavrate tame vibho. Hey Vibho, this will help me even when the rainy seasons are ceased. So if there were mountains, the rains come and then water will flow away. So you have to make a place where the water is stored or water sinks into that. Prattvāvai bhadrante upavateta me vibho. So rain will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. Read the purport.
King Indra of the holy planets is in charge of throwing thunderbolts and giving rainfall. Generally, thunderbolts are thrown on the tops of hills in order to break them to pieces. As these pieces are spread asunder in due course of time, the surface of the globe gradually becomes fit for agriculture. Level land is especially conducive to the production of grain. Thus, the planet Earth requested Maharaj Prithu to level the surface of the earth, breaking up the high land and mountains.
Next. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupati vatsam kritva mamam banva adhuta adhuta sakalaushadi. So considering the beneficial that they transformed Swayambhuva Manu into a calf and then milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, keeping them in the cupped hands. Cupped hands and they milked. Yeah. She's not at fault.
Took the shape of cow. King Prithu said, although you became cow, still I will not leave you. He took bow and arrow also. Why then Prithu Maharaj was so angry? When actually she was not.
See, a king is supposed to take care of the citizens by hook or crook. Even though you may have 100 right reasons for non-performance of duty, non-performance of a duty is the biggest sin. Isn't it? My husband is a Buddha, so I will not cook for him. It is true, your husband is giving trouble to you, but that doesn't mean you don't cook for him. I'm just giving a very gross example. Going on strike. No, you do your duty. You may have 100 right reasons. Hundreds of right reasons cannot be an excuse for you doing one wrong. That is the principle. Very dharma. That's what I'm saying. So that's why it is. Next. Tata bare cha sarvatra saram madhare buddha tadonye cha yatha kam duduhu pitu bhavitam. Others who are as intelligent as King Prithu also took the essence out of the earthly planet. Indeed, everyone took this opportunity to follow the footsteps of King Prithu and got whatever he desired from the earth planet. So not only Prithu, there are other kings also, they became followers. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The planet Earth is also called Vasundhara. The word Vasu means wealth and Dhara means one. All creatures within the earth fulfill the necessities required for human beings, and all living entities can be taken out of the earth by the proper means, as suggested by the planet Earth and accepted and initiated by King Prithu. Whatever is taken from the earth, either from the mines, from the surface of the globe, or from the atmosphere, should always be considered the property of Supreme Personality of Godhead and should be used for yajna, Lord Vishnu. As soon as the process of yajna is stopped, the earth will withhold all production, vegetable, trees, plants, fruits, flowers, other agricultural crops and minerals. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the process of yajna was instituted from the beginning of creation. By the regular performance of yajna, the equal distribution of the wealth and the restriction of sense gratification, the entire world will be made peaceful and prosperous. As already mentioned in this age of Kali, the simple performance of Sankirtan Yajna, the holding of festival as initiated by the International Society for Krishna Consciousness should be introduced in every town and village. Intelligent men should encourage the performance of Sankirtan Yajna by their personal behavior. This means that they should follow the process of austerity by restricting themselves from illicit sex life, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. If the intelligent man or the Brahmanas of the society would follow the rules and regulation, certainly the entire face of this present world, which is in such chaotic condition, would change and people would be happy and prosperous.
Okay, so we stop here for a break and we'll be back in say 15 minutes break, Gayatri and all. It is 12:35. We'll be back by 12:50. Hare Krishna. Verses description of what all people did and what did they obtain from Mother Earth. That is what is described. Hmm? वत्सं बृहस्पतिं कृत्वा पयश्चन्दोमयोमयं शुचि चन्दोमयं शुचि. So Brihaspati, the sages, what did they do? They made Brihaspati as the calf. And then they obtained the Vedic verses as the milk with the sense as the pot. Now, when you say yajna, what do you think what comes in your mind? The moment you say yajna, Havan Kund, and as rishis are doing some swaha, mantras being chanted, isn't it? That is dravya yajna. That is a yajna ceremony. But actually, you do yajna every day, every second. What is yajna? Karma brahmodham vidhi brahmakshara samadhavan. . Yajna is karma. Your duty is yajna. It is not that only when you have fire, then it is yajna. If you remember the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna talks about brahmacharis. What is their yajna? Shrotarindriyanyanye. Huh? Juhati indriyagnishu juhati. For them, the concentrated mind is the fire in which they are offering their senses. For the grihasthas, the controlled senses is the fire in which they offer the sense objects. Can you get that verse? I think you could be very confused. See that verse? Gita, 4th chapter. For the yogis, prana, apana. Found that verse? Huh? Pranapana samayuk. Tatirukta para pranaya parayanaha. The previous verse. (26). What is there? Read the translation.
Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. And
What is
others,
fire there? Mental control is the fire. And what is the offering?
hearing process and senses.
Senses, especially hearing process.
Hearing process.
So you may say that there's no yajna going on. Yajna is going on. Hearing and engaging your senses in the controlled fire, mind of the controlled fire, or fire of the controlled mind, then that's yajna. In the same way here also, when they wanted to derive different objects from the earth, they made different people or different things as calf. And they have trained different things. Rishis, what do they want? Tell me. They want knowledge. And you derive the Vedic knowledge ultimately from Mother Earth. But for the Mother Earth to give you that Vedic knowledge, she requires what? And who is that calf? Their guru. Brihaspati. Got it? Huh? Read the purport.
Brihaspati is the priest of heavenly planets. Vedic knowledge was received in logical order by the great sages through Brihaspati for the benefit of human society, not only on this planet but throughout the universes. In other words, Vedic knowledge is considered one of the necessities of human society. If human society remains satisfied simply by taking grains from the planet Earth as well as the other necessities for maintaining the body, society will not be sufficiently prosperous. Humanity must have food for the mind and ear as well as for the purpose of vibration. As far as transcendental vibrations are concerned, the essence of all Vedic knowledge is the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In Kali Yuga, if this Vedic Mahamantra is chanted regularly and heard regularly by the devotional process of Shravanam Kirtanam, it will purify all societies and thus humanity will be happy both materially and spiritually.
Yeah. Kritva vatsam suragana indram somam maduduham hiranyamena matrena vidyam ojabalam payaham. What do the Devatas want? What do they want? Somaras, isn't it? So for that, they made Indra as the calf. Produced, make Indra calf, produced nectar from, with the power of mind, senses body as a milk. And they got all these things from in a golden pot. Hiranyamayena patrena Viryam ajo balam payaha. They got all the strength. So milk doesn't mean milk for everyone. Different objects are considered as milk, and different persons are considered as calf. Next. Vatsam Vahradam Asurashabam Vidya Vidhaya Bhutam Grekshiram Ayaha Patre Surasavam. Now, Diti, the sons of Diti, who are they? Daityas. And Daitya, Danava, Vatsam, they made whom as a calf? Prahlad, as a calf. Why Prahlad? Because it's the best of the Asura Shabam, because best of all the Asuras. And as a calf, Vidhaya Duhutam Kshiram Ayaha Patre Surasavam. They collected milk. What was that milk for them, for Asuras? Liquor. And where did they collect it? Iron pot. Liquor in iron pot. That power of the liquor increases in iron pot. They keep an iron pot. Liquor was made earlier by, of course, many methods of making liquor. Grapes, they are used for, in the West, people don't eat grapes, but they grow a lot of grapes. Why? Make wine out of. You put it in an iron pot and put it under the earth, it ferments. What is alcohol? It's all fermented. All the alcohol is all fermented. Sadawa. Sadaw. They take rice, barley, wheat, and then they put water, and what they do? They ferment it. And then distill the ferment, then extract it. That's wine. Next. Read the purport.
The women also have their own types of beverages in the form of liquor and beers, just as the demigod used someras for their drinking purpose. The demons born of Diti take great pleasure in drinking wine and beer. Even today, people of demonic nature are very much addicted to liquor and beer. The name of Prahlad Maharaj is very significant in this connection, because Prahlad Maharaj was born in the family of demon as the son of Hiranyakashipu. By his mercy, the demons were and still are able to have their drink in the form of wine and beer. The word iron is very significant, whereas the nectarian soma was put in a golden pot. The liquor and beers were put in an iron pot. Because the liquor and beer are inferior, they are placed in an iron pot. And because somarasa is superior, it is placed in a golden pot.
Next. Vatsena Vitaro Aryama Kavai. Sorry. Next. 17. Gandharvapsaro dusham patre patmavaye payah vatsam swam kritva andharvam madhusaubhagam. The Gandharvas and Apsaras made Vishwavasu as the calf. And what came out? Songs, beautiful songs. Because the Gandharvas like to sing and dance. And they got the songs as the milk. And where did they collect it? The lotus. They use the lotus as a what? All the musical knowledge, everything came from Mother Earth. Vasundhara. Vasu means all wealth. Dhara means one who holds. Bhudevi. Next. Vatsena pitaro yama kavayam kshiram madhukshata avatre mahabhaga shraddhaya sadhajevata. And the Pitrus, you know what the Pitrus are? They made Aryama as a calf. And they derived milk. What was that milk is they derived? Shraddha. And what is the pot in which they got it? Huh? Earthen pot. Mahabhaga Bhaga Adukshataha Ama Patre. What is the meaning of Ama Patre? Unbaked pot. You have mud pot. You don't bake it. Means you don't put it in the fire like that. So they derived faith. They milled kavya, havya. What are the difference? Ka means the thing which is offered to Pitris. Kavayaha, havayaha. Havan means which offered to demigods. That is called havayaha. Kavaya means something offered to the Pitris. Okay. Read the purport.
In Bhagavad Gita 9:25, it is said, Pitriyanti Pitrivataha. Those who are interested in family welfare are called Pitrivataha. There is a planet called Pitriloka. The predominant deity of that planet is called Aryama. He is somewhat of a demigod, and by satisfying him, one can help mostly family members develop a gross body. Those who are very sinful and attached to their family, house, village, or country do not receive a gross body made of material elements, but remain in a subtle body, composed of mind, will, and intelligence. Those who live in such subtle bodies are called ghosts. This ghostly position is very painful because a ghost has intelligence, mind, and ego, and wants to enjoy material life. But because he doesn't have a gross material body, he can only create disturbances for want of material satisfaction. It is the duty of the family members, especially the son, to offer oblations to the demigod Aryama or to Lord Vishnu. From time immemorial in India, the son of a dead man goes to Goa and at the Vishnu temple there offers oblations for the benefit of his ghostly father. It is not that everyone's father becomes a ghost, but the oblations of Pinda are offered to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, so that if a family member happens to become a ghost, he will be favored with a gross body. However, if one is habituated to taking the prasad of Lord Vishnu, there is no chance of his becoming a ghost or anything lower than a human being. In a Vedic civilization, there is a performance called Shraddha, by which food is offered with faith and devotion. If one offers oblations with faith and devotion, either to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu or to his representative in the Pitriloka, Aryama, one's forefathers will attain material bodies to enjoy whatever material enjoyment is due them. In other words, they do not have to become ghosts.
Shraddha. Comes the word Shraddha. To go to Gaya. Next. prakalpya sankalpitam siddha sankalpanamayin siddhim nabhasi vidyam cha yecha vidyadharadaya. So the Siddhas, they made Kapila as the calf. Vatsam Kapilam Prakalpya Siddhaha produce what? Siddhis like anima as the milk. Siddhim Nabhasi Vidyam cha Yecha Vidyadharaha. And Vidyadharas produce knowledge like flying in the sky, etc., as the milk, with the sky as the pot. So everybody has different desires. And all the desires the Mother Earth can fulfill. But for that, you have to present that kind of calf so that you can get that kind of milk which is desired by them. Okay. Read the purport.
I had a question about previous purport. About ghostly personalities we are talking. I also heard and I also had experience of that's some kind of force, even when we are brahmacharis in ashram, though we are practicing. So we kind of somebody also expressing themselves that there is a personality forcing on me while sleeping or in the night. Is it happens to brahmacharis or in general for devotees also, or how is that?
See, when you say devotee, there's a wide spectrum, isn't it? So there's a wide spectrum actually. That spectrum has been discussed in the fourth canto. Tamasika, Rajasika, Satvika, Shuddha. Within Shuddha there is Sadhaka, there is Bhava Prema Bhakta. Within Prema Bhakta, so many categories. Within Bhava, so many categories. Within Sadhaka, which stage, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Anartha Nivritti, what? And ultimately, what was his background? What kind of prarabdha is bringing? So, all these things cannot be generalized. That is the problem with the modern education system. You generalize everything. Somebody gets cough in winter season, and the same cough, he also coughs in the summer season. But the allopathy gives the same medicine. Anyway, it's not going to work. It may work for the cough and criticize something else. So you have to treat the patient, not the disease. You have to treat the patient. That means it is individualized. So this thing is individual. Two cases came to me, the same thing, similar thing. One person, I told it is your hallucination. Because it was a hallucination for him. Because his Chandra is so Nicha, and both of them stay in the same room. He had a problem, genuine problem. This he had that some entities which are troubling him. And he went on telling. So what he got affected so much, he thought, I also have it. I also have it. But it was only hallucination for him. I told, you have a bigger problem because you are hallucinating. Because for a person who is hallucinating, there is no cure. Isn't it? If somebody thinks I'm sick, he is not sick. What medicine will you tell me? So it's an individual case. Case wise you have to see. That's the thing. It happens there.
Yeah, what makes that kind of experience in terms of if it happens really?
Many circumstances. It cannot, that again, same thing. It's not similar and same with everyone. Many circumstances. It may be avichara, it may be prarabdha, it can be a curse, It can be hallucination. Huh? It can be only for temporary time period. So many factors are there.
The inhabitants of both Siddhaloka and Vidyadharaloka are naturally endowed with mystic yogic powers by which they not only can fly in the outer space without a vehicle, but can also fly from one planet to another simply by exerting their will. Just as fish can swim within water, the residents of Vidyadharaloka can swim in the ocean of air. As far as the inhabitants of Siddhaloka are concerned, they are endowed with all mystic powers. The yogis in this planet practice the eightfold yogic mysticism, namely yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. By regularly practicing the yogic processes one after another, the yogis attain various perfections. They can become smaller than the smallest, heavier than the heaviest, etc. They can even manufacture a planet, get whatever they like, and control whatever man they want. All the residents of Siddhaloka are naturally endowed with these mystic yogic powers. It is certainly a very wonderful thing if we see a person on this planet flying in the sky without a vehicle, but in Vidyadharaloka such flying is as commonplace as the birds flying in the sky. Similarly, in Siddhaloka, all the inhabitants are great yogis, perfect in mystic powers. The name of Kapil Muni is significant in this verse because he was expounder of the Sankhya philosophical system, and his father Kardamuni was a great yogi and mystic. Indeed, Kardamuni prepared a great airplane which was as large as a small town and had various gardens, palatial buildings, servants, and maidservants. With all this paraphernalia, Kapildev's mother, Devhuti, and his father, Kardamuni, traveled all over the universes and visited different planets.
Okay. Next. Anye Jamano Mayam Antardhana Bhutatmanam Mayam Pragalpya Vatsante So what did those king Purushas do? King Purushas. They kept Maya as a calf. Maya Danava, heard about him? He's an architect, Vastu, Maya Danava. And produced the astonishing trick of disappearing at the will. They can just disappear as a milk. They got it as a milk. With the purport.
It is said that the inhabitants of King Pursuloka can perform many wonderful mystic demonstrations. In other words, they can exhibit as many wonderful things as one can imagine. The inhabitants of this planet can do whatever they like or whatever they imagine. Such powers are also mystic powers. The possession of such mystic power is called Isita. The demons generally learn such mystic powers by the practice of yoga. In the Dasama Skanda, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a vivid description of how the demons appear before Krishna in various wonderful forms. For instance, Bakasur appeared before Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends as a gigantic crane. While present on this planet, Lord Krishna had to fight with many demons who could exhibit the wonderful mystic powers of King Purusa Loka. Although the inhabitants of King Purus Loka are naturally endowed with such powers, one can attain this power on this planet by performing different yogic practices.
King Purusha. Why they are called King Purusha? King, are you Purusha? They look like, but they are not. They are of the 4 lakh human species, but with some extraordinary powers. They are all come in that. Kinnara, Kim Purusha, Yaksha, Gandharva, Rakshasa, and Vinayaka. There are so many yonis are there. They are all within the 4 lakh. Next. Yaksha rakshamsi bhutani pishajaha pishitashanam bhuteshu vatsadrubuhu kapale kshatrajasavam. Now Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishachas, Bhutas and Pishachas, and Pishitashanaha, eater of flesh, flesh eaters. What they made? Who was the cow for them? Lord Shiva. They gave Lord Shiva because Mother Earth would get angry from hey, what is this? Shiva is there, for our calf. But what to do? Shiva, Lord Shiva is Bhutanath. So then liquor, they got liquor, which is made up of what? Blood. When you ferment blood, that becomes blood liquor. And that was collected in what? Skull. Mother should take care of all, na? That's what it is. Read the purport.
There are some types of living entities in the form of human beings whose living conditions and eatables are most abominable. Generally, they eat flesh and fermented blood, which is mentioned in this verse as Kshatrajasanam. The leaders of such degraded men, known as Yakshas, Rakshasas, Bhutas, and Pishachas, are all in the mode of ignorance. They have been placed under the control of Rudra. Rudra is the incarnation of Lord Shiva and is in charge of the mode of ignorance and material nature. Another name of Lord Shiva is Bhutanath, meaning master of ghosts. Rudra was born from between Brahma's eyes when Brahma was very angry at the four Kumaras.
Okay. Next. 22nd. Tata the Shukta Shukha Sarpanarascha Takshakam Vidhaya Vatsam Dudu Didapatre Vishampaya. Snakes. There are some snakes with hoods and there are some snakes without hoods. The scorpions. They made Takshaka as a calf. You know Takshaka? He was saved. Well, there are 8 species of snakes which were saved. All are gone. Many snakes. Janmeja Yagya. Then Takshaka took shelter of Indra. By the time all the demigods came and told Janmeja, don't. So only now 8 species of snakes are left. So Takshaka is a very special person because he was saved. Takshaka was a calf and produced, what was the milk for the snakes? Poison. And what was the pot? Their mouth itself became the pot. In the snake holes, they made calf out of Takshaka. Read the purport.
Within this internal world, combine various types of living entities and the different types of reptiles and scorpions mentioned in this verse are also provided with their sustenance by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The point is that we is taking place intervals from the planet Earth. According to one's association with the mental qualities, one develops a certain type of character. However, if one feeds a serpent milk, the snake will simply increase its however, if one supplies meat to a talented such as a saint, the sage will develop final brain tissues by which he can contemplate higher spiritual life. Thus, the Lord is supplying everyone's food, but according to the living entities association with the needs of nature, the living entities develop his specific character.
Next. Pashavo yavasam cheram patsam gritva chago Aranyapatre cha goksham mrigendrena chadam shrina kra kravayada pranina kravyam duduhu swekale vare suparnavatsa vihaga charam cha charameva cha. So, four-legged animals like cows made a calf out of the bull who carries Lord Shiva and made a milking pot out of the forest. Now just see, the cows require forest. You know what the British did? Attacked and stopped the cows grazing in the forest. What all they did? All demonic. What all Hiranyakashipu can do, they do it in a different way. Hiranyakashipu did it in a DOS way, the British did it in a subtle way. So many thousands and thousands of cows were grazing in the forest. No afforestation happened. For thousands of years, the Adivasis were living in the forest, cutting the old firewood. Afforestation did not happen. Once they brought the act, only government can take the, they wanted to cut all the trees and took to England. I was in UK last year. My blood was boiling looking at every house. All the wood was from India, all the wood was from Africa. And all the labor from India and Africa, free labor, free material. They built their houses. You cannot build any house there. The wood which is available there, you cannot build. Some houses 100 years, 200 years old. Because that kind of wood was available. And what did they do? They cut all the same and put all stupid jungle trees and went away. That meant actually for, we used to hear in jungle, a lot of fruits are available and all. Now where are the fruits? Nothing. The British did this thing. So Nandi, they made the forest as a plot. Thus they got fresh green grass to eat. And Ferocian, the tigers transformed a lion into the calf. And thus they were able to get flesh for milk. The birds made a calf out of Garuda and took milk from the planet Earth in the form of moving insects and non-moving plants and grasses. So three categories are described. The cow, the fierce animals like lions and tigers, and then the birds. The cows made the bull as the calf, bull as the calf, and got what? Grass. What was? Tiger got flesh as the milk. And who was the calf? The lion was a calf. Then the birds made Garuda as a calf and got insects and their eatable things with what as the pot? What is the pot for them? What is the pot for the birds? Moving plants and grasses are the pot. Where do you find insects? It's not written actually. You should be understood that. Where do you find insects? Birds eat insects. Where do you find insects? Grass, plants. You go and read the purport.
There are many carnivorous birds descended from gorilla. the wings carrier of Lord Vishnu. Indeed, there is a particular type of bird that is very fond of eating monkeys. Eagles are fond of eating goats. And of course, many birds eat only fruits and berries. Therefore, the word charam referring to moving animal and acharam referring to grasses, fruits, and vegetables. They are mentioned in this verse.
Okay, next. वटवत्सवनस्पत्या पृथक्रासामयं पयः गिरयो हिमवत्वत्सा नानादातुं स्वसानुषु. The trees, they made the banyan tree as the calf. Vata Vatsa, Vata Vriksha, banyan tree. And produced milk. What was the milk for them? The sap which comes. Pratak Rasamayam Payaha. Greha, the mountains, they made Himalayas as the calf. And then produced so many Nana Dhatum Swa Sanana. So many minerals are produced with the plateau as a pot. Okay. Next. Sarve Swamukya Vatsena Sve Sve Patre Pritak Payaha Sarvakamaduhan Ritu Dudu Bharitam. So, all the different living entities, they made their prominent people in their category as the calf and produced different varieties of milk in their respective pots from the earth. And this earth was ordered, dictated, Duduhu Ritu Bhavitam. Ritu Bhavitam means this earth was controlled or instructed by Ritu. With the purport.
This is evidence that the Lord supplies food to everyone. As confirmed in the Vedas, Eko Bhunan Yogidhyati. Only the Lord is one, He is supplying all necessities to everyone through the medium of the planet Earth. There are different varieties of living entities on different planets, and they all derive their eatables from their planets in different forms. On the basis of these descriptions, how can one assume that there is no living entity on the moon? Every moon is earthly, being composed of the 5 elements. Every planet produces different types of food according to the needs of its residents. According to the Vedic Shastras, it is not true that the moon does not produce food or that no living entity is living there.
Okay. Next. Evam Pritvadhaya Prithvim Annadaya Swanam Atmanah Dohavatsa Vivedena Shiravedam Kurudvaha. So, the summary of the entire thing is spoken here. Rudra, please hear. In this way, Evam, means in this way, Pritva Adaya Prithvim, Prithu Maharaj, and others who eat food, milk, different milks. They desired food from the earth with different pots and different calves. So all these things, various foodstuffs which were symbolized by milk, whatever they wanted, they got from the earth being commanded by Prithu Maharaj. Next. Tato mahim prati pritaha sarvakamaduhan pratuh tuhitritve chakare mam premna duhitrivatsalaha. So, to such an extent, he became so happy with Maharaj. satisfied with the planet Earth. Why? Because she sufficiently supplied all food to various living entities. Hmm. Thus, he developed an affection for planet Earth just as if she were his own daughter. Grihitri, Premna Grihitri Vatsala. Now, actually, the Supreme Lord, Putri Maharaj, and Mother Earth is who? Huh? Wife. Uh, how can you accept wife as daughter? Isn't it? There's one question. Uh, so to accept her wife, then there is another problem. Because he milked her for food. Isn't it? You drink milk from whom? Mother, isn't it? So it was not appropriate to take accept her as mother also sins because he threatened her. So neither mother nor wife. Because if you accept as wife, then because you drank milk from her, so it should be mother. If you accept as mother, then you threatened her. Kill her mother. So what did he do? Okay, daughter. Accept as daughter. That's the thing. Next. Churnam swajanustotya kirikutani rajarat bhumandalam idam vinya prayaschakre samam vibhu. So Mother Earth had told him, isn't it? You flattened the entire surface. So he took his Dhanush bow. The end of the Dhanush is known as Kotya. Koti, Dhanush Koti, you heard about it. Giri Kutani Rajarat, this Raja, Giri Kutani, he crumbled the mountains to dust, the tip of his bow. So what do you do? Bhumandalam idam vainya prayas chakre samam vibhu. Praya, almost he made it flat. Otherwise, there were many mountains everywhere. So almost flat, made it. Here's the purport.
Generally, the mountains and hilly portions of the earth are made flat by the striking of thunderbolts. Generally, this is the business of King Indra of the heavenly planets, but King Prithu, an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, did not wait for King Indra to break up the hills and mountains, but did so himself by using his strong bow.
Next. Athasmin Bhagavan Menyah Prajana Nivasan Kalpayam Chakre Tatra Tatra Yatarhataha. So Athaha in this way Asnim Bhagavan Vainyaha. Vainyaha, Vena's son, who is Bhagavan Pitu. Who is he? Prajanam Vriddhita Pita. What did he do? Prajanam Vriddhita Pita, who is Pitu, who was as good as father. Thus, he was visibly engaged in giving them proper sustenance and proper employment for sustenance. Vrittida, Prajanam Vrittida Pita, like a father, he took care of all the citizens. The citizens are like children to the king. They are like children to the king. It is like in Tamil language, the citizens are called makkal. Makkal means, actually, it means children. But in that language, makkal means citizens. That means, like sometimes you heard, this king had 10 lakhs children. So generally, it means that he had 10 lakh citizens, like that. Then, Nivaham Kalpayam Chakre. And not only that, he made Nivasam Kalpanam Chakre, he made houses for them. After leveling the surface of the globe, he earmarked different places of residential quarters, houses for them. And as much as they were desirable, suitable for the people. Tatra tatra yatarhataha. Oh, you, this house, like that. Like you have lower income group, high income group houses like that. Next. Gramanam pura pattani durgani vijani cha oshan rajan sa shiviran akaram ketakarvatam. Then he produced villages, Graman, then Puraha, towns, Pattanani means cities. Then Durgani, were types of forts. Vividhani cha, Ghoshan means covered villages. Then you have Rajan, cow sheds. Sa Shiviran means many military installations. Then Akaran, many agricultural places. So many places, agricultural towns and mountains and villages were created for their residents. So Grama means a village where there is a market. Pura means where there is a market. When the Pura becomes very big, it becomes a Pattana. So in this way, different places are being described in different way. So Gosha means where there is a cow shed. So this is how different places are called in different names. Then last verse. Prat pritoriha naivaisha uragramaadikalpana yatha sukam vasanti sma tatra tatra kuto bhaya. Tatra tatra kuto bhaya. Before the reign of King Prithu, there was no planned arrangement of different cities. They was living like that, that's all. It is Prithu Maharaj who made these distinctions, city, village, pasturing grounds, etc. Everything was scattered and everyone constructed his residential quarters according to his own convenience. Town planning was made by Prithu Maharaj. However, since Prithu plans were made for towns and villages. Read the purport.
From this statement, it appears that the town and city planning is not but after Pluto. In India, we can see the development planning methods evident in very old cities. Instead of highlighting there are many descriptions of since ancient cities. Even 5,000 years ago, like Krishna's capital Dwarka was well planned, and similar other cities, Mathura, Hastinapur, now Delhi, were also well planned. Thus, the planning of cities and towns is not a modern innovation, but has existed in the bygone ages. Thus, in the Bhakti and purport of the fourth canto of chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam and Temple, Prithu Maharaj was the point.
Okay.
When we heard about this Apollo landing on moon, there were so many controversial theories about that. But then recently, when India launched satellite on moon, and they also show it as moon and it appears like moon. How to understand from statements of scriptures where they exactly landed and
Okay. I have a question to you. The question is, where is your mind?
in this body, inside the body, inside the body.
Inside the body. Where is it? Can I do some operation and find out where it is? Can I see?
Physically, we cannot look.
So if you cannot see physically, Does it mean it doesn't exist?
Exists.
Exist. So there are many things which exist, which cannot be seen with your eyes, nor can be seen by a stethoscope or a telescope, nor can be seen by a microscope. If you're able to accept it, then I can answer the question. So in one of the, when this landing happened, one boy, he had the same question, he had a youth program, and boy had the same question. Then I told, I will not answer your question, first you answer my question. Then, see, there are certain things which can be understood only when you have some basic knowledge of a particular thing. The basic knowledge of understanding the Vedic science is acceptance of higher dimensional existence. If you don't accept higher dimensional existence, number one, you don't accept the relativity of time, then it is impossible to explain all these things. Because you are so conditioned to the three-dimensional existence and one spectrum of time. The devotees have a problem. They want to hear the story of how Balaram got married to Revati, both Rasaya. But you are not accepting that Brahma Loka is there. But you hear the story. Relativity of time and space. The higher dimensional existence space. Now, if I ask a scientist, okay, you send a spacecraft to moon. Okay, let you make a spacecraft or a rocket which goes high and high and high and high. Where is the end? Then why, what are you talking about this thing? You show the end now. Okay, when you show the end, I have another question. What is about that? What is the answer? So keep quiet and listen. Accept higher dimensional existence. Then only you can answer everything.
We can say they are only accessing very lower dimensional.
Three dimensions. Length, width, height. How far is the room behind this wall? From here to here, it may be around 30 feet. So how far is the room behind this wall? Huh? I don't know. For you, it is not 30 feet. Where you have to go out, it may be 60 feet. For a person who can just, this wall is not an obstruction for him, subtle, he's got a subtle body, for him it is only 30 feet. So even the dimensions in the scriptures are not exactly the dimensions according to the human perception. Okay? Hare Krishna.
In the beginning, Mother Earth did not produce grain because of sinful activity. But now we see that the Rakshasas and Asuras, the kind of thing they are asking, that is also like sinful activity, drinking blood and all. So it is not considered sinful activity only because it has not produced out of killing any life. Is it so? Or-
A good question. See, somebody has a desire to drink blood, but there is a way to do that. So for that person, when they follow the procedure to do that, it is not sinful for them. But for the activity itself, it is sinful for you, from your perspective. And they are sinful people, and there is a methodology to satisfy their sin. If they break the methodology, then there is more sin. Getting the point? Like for example, if somebody wants to have association with a woman, so okay, no problem. What do you do? Get married. You can be with your wife, no problem. But if he does it improperly, then it is sin. Because sense enjoyment is sin only. But when we talk of sin here, we're talking about the unnatural way of trying to exploit Mother Earth. Okay, stop here. Hare Krishna. We meet day after tomorrow.